How are you, gents? Active Aussie back again. This is part 2 of a video that I planned to make yesterday afternoon, and a subscriber of mine left a few excellent comments in regard to one of my previous videos, and I haven't seen some comments like this in any sort of manosphere video for a long time. I think it's what he wrote, what he said is very concise and to the point. So I want to go through some of the points this guy Peter mentioned. He's from the UK, I think, and in his early 60s, so obviously a guy with quite a lot of life experience, and he would understand what the West was like back in, you could say, the early 70s, late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s. And I sort of remember the mid 80s, late 80s, early 90s very well. But before that, my memory is a bit vague. But things were absolutely different back then. And in my opinion, they were much, much better. This society has just declined so much, and we're really going backwards. And I think it's because the majority of people do not believe in anything. They believe in nothing. There's no sense of spirituality. Most people don't question anything, and we've seen that especially within the last 3 or 4 years. It's just become much, much worse. But onto the main point of the video, I'll just go through a few of these points that were mentioned. And the first one is God cancelled. I would agree with that to a certain extent. I personally believe in God, although I am not a sort of radical Christian by any means. But sometimes if you tell people that you believe in God, they look at you like you just arrived from Mars or something, and you are thought of as being stupid if you believe in God, if you are religious, if you believe in some sort of higher being, etc. And I feel that this is a product of like the Marxism, communism, and just the general wokeness that's crept into our society, and a society where people are very superficial, very materialistic, and they just really, most people don't think carefully about anything. So I wouldn't say God has been totally cancelled out, but there are a lot of people who are definitely trying to get rid of God, get rid of religion in general. And I'm not saying that people should believe in God. I used to be an atheist, but I don't like this idea of people with religious beliefs being like shat upon by others, like a seagull flying around with diarrhea. I just really don't like this. So there is like a lack of spirituality within our society, and I think religion can be a good thing in many ways. And if a person's belief system gives them comfort and gives them hope, that's a really great thing, I feel. Now, the second one is institutions, all corrupt. I'd say, generally speaking, this is 100% correct. I'd say that within the majority of most levels of government, there are levels of corruption. I think for some like local councils, you might have an independent councillor, and those people might really care about their local community, but I feel that's very rare. I have a lady who's a councillor in my own area. She keeps getting elected because she does a good job and people support her. I personally support her, and I hope she gets re-elected. And even though she's a woman, I think some women genuinely can do a good job, but people must be selected on merit, and there is way too much interference from people like property developers and large corporations in politics. It's a problem all over the world. It's a global problem. But occasionally you still get some integrity in politics, but it's very, very rare in 2024. Now, the next one is political parties, and next to that it has all corrupt. I'd say the majority of them are corrupted in one way or another. As we know, money talks, and I think it's very easy for many people to just take the money, so to speak, or become influenced by money power. Just let the power go to their head, and just they forget about the average people who they are supposed to represent. And big money, big corporate has had a terrible effect in regard to the political system and political parties. Guys, if you want to leave some feedback, some comments in regard to what I'm saying, I really welcome that. We can have a little bit of a discussion here. The next one, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to go through most of these. The next one is marriage, devalued to zero. Yes, and myself and many other guys have spoken about this many times. Marriage is just basically a wealth transfer scam now. So it is wealth that is transferred from men to women, and marriage is a contract where a man is owned by a woman and owned by a state, and men get no benefit whatsoever out of marriage, at least in Western countries, that's for sure. Family under government control, well, we have so much government interference now, and this is another result of the high level of like Marxism, communism, this sort of thing that's crept into Western government, Western political systems. Governments love to have control over people, over families, and just going back to marriage, it's big daddy and women who are controlling men through marriage. Also, after divorce, obviously, we have the alimony, child support, all this sort of thing. But generally speaking, I think governments just like to control people. It doesn't really matter what country that is. But if you're a foreigner in a non-Western country, it will not affect you anywhere near as much as it does when you're in your own country, or when you're in a another Western type country. Loyalty within society. I feel there is hardly any now, almost none. So we have loyalty and respect and love. If you want unconditional love and loyalty, you should get a dog, because you're not going to get it from a woman. And I think for most people as well, friendship is very superficial. People are mostly only interested in others in regard to what they can get from them, whether that be some sort of financial gain, or to gain information, or to get attention, that sort of thing. So loyalty is something that's very, very lacking in 2024. And respect has to be earned. It should not just be given, but many people expect to be given respect just because they exist. Romance and chivalry, well, that's just dead nowadays. Don't really have much to say in regard to that. Rights of men. Men really do not have many rights nowadays, especially here in the West, as we all know. And I won't go too far into that because I've spoken about it many, many times. But it's very easy to tell, living within Western society nowadays, that we really are in a type of decline, and I feel this is just going to get worse and worse over the next few years. And basically, I think a lot of men will leave the West, abandon the West, or just try to leave if they possibly can. Not everyone can afford to just pack up and leave, but I think many men will start to formulate a plan to move to other areas. And I'm not necessarily talking about passport bros, because they are mostly going to places like Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, or South America, primarily for women. But when I talk about relocating to another place, another country, another continent, I'm talking about just to improve your lifestyle in general, not primarily for women. For some guys, if they want to have a bit of fun while they're over there, that's fine. But I don't promote foreign marriage, like marriage in Southeast Asia or South America or Africa or wherever these guys intend to travel to settle in, to relocate in. So the passport bro and expat issue is quite complicated, and there can be many reasons why somebody might want to leave their own country. Can also be because of financial pressure. And someone left a comment to my last video saying that in Australia, even to buy just a one-bedroom apartment, and not necessarily a new one either, even an old one, it's very expensive. Even one bedrooms in my area, they sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I feel that we're just constantly being ripped off here in Australia, whether that be by our government, by supermarkets, by real estate agents, by developers, by whoever. It's just become a big rip-off, a big scam. So it's no wonder people have thought about leaving, and not just MGTOW or red pill men. You could just say your average sort of blue pill guy will be starting to wake up to some extent. So I just feel that it's going to become more of an issue, the cost of living especially. Anyway, guys, I might even make another video in regard to this, but I've got to do a few things today. I'm waiting for an air conditioning technician, and just found out another unit has failed over at my sister's house, my mother and sister's place. So I'll get this friend of mine to have a look at their air conditioner too. So I've just still got to get a few problems sorted out. But that's about all for now, and I think you'll have quite a few ideas, opinions, and comments to make in regard to this video. So I welcome that, look forward to that, and I'll talk to you again soon, I hope.